Welcome to another Top 5 Friday. Now this topic is not going to be gaming related, although I guess you could apply it to gaming to a degree. It's more about movies, and I actually made a tweet about this and it went semi-viral and a lot of people wanted me to make a video on it, so I figured a Top 5 Friday would be great because it's easy to come up with a lot of reasons of why physical media should never die. But first, before that, I want to give you the sponsor of this video, and that is a fan by the name of Tim. Now, of course, he didn't pay for a shout out, and he doesn't even know I'm doing this. He is a member of the Chode Nation in the hospital right now, going through some rough things, and I just wanted to send some positive vibes his way, and I know you guys would love to send some positive vibes his way as well. Chode Nation, Tim, the Chode Nation is behind you. You can make it through this. We got your back. I hope this puts a smile on your face.
Oh, it's Friday night. Don't know what I'm gonna do tonight. I could sit here and pick my nose while I watch a brand new video. Whoa, Top 5 Friday tonight.
Now, before I get started, I've got to say that I don't hate digital. When it comes to movies, I can't tell you how convenient it is to just sit on the couch, sit in bed, and go through Amazon Prime and go through Netflix and just browse and see what's there. It's awesome. Look, I'm not going to try to say it's not. Digital has its place and streaming has its place, and it's gotten me through some really boring nights at times, and it's a great way to actually discover things that you never knew existed, and a great way for maybe independent guys that have tried to actually get movies and stuff made, not being able to get them distributed anywhere, to put them up so people can see it, kind of like YouTube, but on Amazon Prime, and that's a great thing too. And so I'm not gonna bash digital, it has its place. However, I'm not saying that we should go all digital, and this is kind of the point of this video. Physical still has its place. Now, the number 5 reason is probably maybe the most superficial, so we'll get that out of the way first. And it's just really cool to have a library of movies. Look at me, look at all these games I have behind me. I'm a collector by just, there's something in my personality that I love collecting things, and you know, maybe it's a sickness and maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just be one with nature and not care about material things, but screw it, I like material things. They bring me to my happy place, and I'm not gonna apologize for it, whether it be games or movies. I'm a movie buff and I'm a game buff. I've always been those two things. And so up here I got my games, down there I got my library of movies that I've collected ever since VHS was around. And so VHS, Blu-ray, now Ultra Blu-ray, which I'm trying to not get too into, but well, I kind of am. But anyway, it's really cool just to have your own personal library of movies. And beyond that, just the artwork. I love the artwork. I love looking at the artwork. Now, they don't put as much care into the artwork nowadays as they used to back then. Even on older movies, like when they do re-releases, it's like the artwork is just crap. If you look at the 4K releases of the Batman, the Tim Burton Batmans, they're awful, they're horrible, and they're lazy. It's like, get that out of here. I'll put my own custom covers in that. The Star Trek movies, the original Star Trek movies, they're garbage too. I put my own custom artwork in those too. I'm a nerd, I mean, what can you say? But anyway, and especially don't get me started on special editions that come with books and, you know, all this other supplemental material. I love the physicality of just holding something in your hands. I'm old school, that's what I like, so that's number 5. And if we're gonna go back to old school, and me being an old guy, I still feel like I own something only if I have it in my house physically. And that's just the way I feel. And that's number 4. Actually feeling like you own it. Now, I know there are technicalities and there are all these different laws that you don't actually own the movie. You own the disc that it comes on, and you know, it's not yours to do with whatever you want with it. I can't upload it to anything and distribute it like that, so you don't truly own it. I get that. But for all intents and purposes, I own the damn movie. The government's not going to come into my house and take the movie. That's what the Second Amendment is for. It's what our forefathers, okay, that's why they wrote the Second Amendment. That very reason. So they're not going to do it. I own the movie. I own the movie. And yeah, not only that, like if I don't want to own the movie anymore, I can always sell it. You can't sell digital. So those are some pretty damn good reasons why physical should never go away, right? And I've never felt like you own it when it's digital. It's like they can just take it away on a whim. Like, I know maybe they can't legally do it, but it's like, what if I log in one day and all the movies are gone? What then? And I know people that's actually happened to. So that's always a thing. And yes, I know that I could scratch a disc. I know that I could lose a disc or whatever, and it's like, okay, it's the same thing, really. But I don't care. All right, so number 3, all the bonus features you get with physical releases. You do get some bonus features. I've been scrolling on through streaming sites, and they'll have a movie, and then you can actually click on the page that it's on, and they'll have a few featurettes and bonus things that go with it. And then that's great. It's awesome that they do that. But nothing compares to the sheer amount of just extra content you get, usually speaking, generally speaking, unless they're being really super lazy with it, and sometimes they do. But generally speaking, you get so much more bonus content and behind the scenes stuff and just general extra stuff with a disc, because they're really trying to sell you on that physical purchase. They want you to buy the movie, so they're going to put extra stuff on it. Hell, we did that for our own movie we went on the Kickstarter and our DVDs. I put as much stuff on it as possible because I want you to buy the thing. I mean, while else, you could just watch it for free on YouTube. Not the movie, but the DVDs at least, the show. But the movie even of itself, yeah, just put as much stuff as I possibly can cram onto that thing, and just make it worth buying. And so that's something. What is that noise? I absolutely love behind the scenes stuff. I'm just always been fascinated with the movie making process. So whenever a disc has extra stuff about what they went through to make it and the behind the scenes stuff, I'm all about that. And I've never seen anything streaming wise that matches putting in. Sometimes you get that second disc on that physical release where that's all that is. That's all that second disc is just bonus content. Number 2, you're getting the best quality with physical releases. I mean, especially when you're talking 4K. And yes, there are streaming sites that do offer 4K, but I've never seen it match the quality of an actual disc. You just can't get the bit rate up there enough, and there's just going to be some loss of quality. Now, a lot of people may not even notice the difference. A lot of people might not even care, and I get that. But I've always been one of these guys that I've always wanted the movie to look the best it could possibly look. It's just been a thing about me. And so whenever I'm watching something on streaming and I see just bands and going from light to dark, and you see little digital artifacts here and there, even on the 4K stuff, I'm like, it's distracting to me. I don't like it. So I know that when I put that disc in, it's going to be the best quality that you can get outside of actually looking at the actual film itself, because everything gets compressed to a degree, whether it's streaming or on a disc. It's some compression, but still you're getting the best quality that you can ever watch the movie on at home on this disc. And to me, that's a huge reason to always buy physical. Okay, so we've gotten to number 1. Now this number 1 reason is gee golly, it's the number 1 reason that I even wanted to make this video, and this is what led to the whole discussion, and this is the biggest reason of all to me, and that is preservation. And what I mean by that is, well, let's just take Star Wars for instance. Now, George Lucas released them, and we all got them on VHS and Laserdisc, and they're the original ones that were released in theaters. But now, what are they? They're special editions. There's a bunch of stuff added to them, and who knows if we'll ever get those original releases again. We may never. Disney may never put them out. And so the only way to have those or ever see those is if you have those original VHSs and laser discs and stuff. And there are people that are despecializing them and all that stuff. We won't go into all that, but those exist because they existed physically. When something was released digitally and only streamed, It's, you know, they're letting you see what they want you to see at all times, and I mean specifically with streaming. Obviously, even if you were to actually have the physical data on your hard drive, it's still preserved, of course. But I'm talking specifically for streaming, because when you get a digital code and you redeem it, say like on Voodoo, something, whatever it is, you don't download that at least I don't think you do. I don't think you actually download that onto any sort of like hard drive or anything like that. You're streaming it. So they could change that stream at any moment. They can give you a different edit of the movie at any moment. And that's up to them. You don't have any say in the matter, right? And that's a big problem. That's a big problem nowadays. And the reason for that is cancel culture. And I have a big problem with cancel culture. I have a big problem with it because I don't like censorship. And unfortunately nowadays, it's like if you're offended over something, then you think you have every right in the world to make it go away, and no one else has the right to ever see it again. And people are getting so sensitive and so uptight and worked up over everything. When do we draw the line? Is like everything, is all art going to be just tossed under the side? Are we going back to a new dark ages here? I really do feel like that way sometimes. And so, look, and I'm not saying and it doesn't mean that I agree with everything out there, that, and it doesn't mean that I don't think some things are offensive or anything like that, but it's like, who gets to choose, right? And when you leave it up to big corporations, when they gotta keep their face and be PC, it's like, you know, especially Disney. I worry about Disney, especially when they buy all the Fox titles, and now everything's under their umbrella, and they say they're gonna not do physical releases of the Fox, which made me angry, which led to the rant on Twitter, that they're not gonna do physical 4K releases of all the backlog titles that they have, that they just bought from Fox and their own stuff. And it's like, okay, you're just gonna buy all this stuff and then sit on it now. And I mean, Fox was releasing them themselves. They did the 4K Alien, and it's amazing. We were waiting for them to do Aliens next. Not gonna happen now, because Disney had to go and buy them up, and they're like, nah, we don't want to do it now. So, you know, screw Disney. And I could see that being one of those companies that are like, you know, this, I don't know, you know, this scene in this movie is a little problematic in the year 2021. We should probably edit it out on Disney Plus. And then what? And then it's like, once that ball starts rolling, it really starts rolling. And that's a problem, because when do you draw the line? When does it end? When does it ever end? And you have people wanting to dictate that, and those people have influence apparently to these big companies, and these big companies want to be like, oh, you know, we should do something about that because we don't want to be offensive, and this is problematic and all that. And then things get edited out. I think it will be a thing. I think all these major streaming sites will start taking things off. I mean, there have been episodes of The Office taken off because even though it was perfectly fine 5 or 6 years ago, now in 2020 it's offensive. Golden Girls, the same thing. People are going up in arms about an episode of Golden Girls. It's like, when's it going to end? I don't think it is. So the only way to stop that in this tracks is to buy the physical media, have it in your house, and then you can't do a damn thing about it. And I'm sorry if this offends anybody, but that's my opinion. And I've never been one to say that someone's art should be covered up and censored. It's some real dark ages bull, if you ask me. And I don't care who it offends. Sorry. But that's my top 5 of why physical media, movies, shows, all that good stuff should never go away.